Hey guys, last night we had my father's service, and I thought for today's video that to try and be as upbeat as I can, I want to go over some funny moments in my father's life, some of which include me. I think we'll start with the one that I think is the funniest, and it's one that my mother loves to share with people. When I was a baby, little tiny baby, my father thought it would be a good idea to pick me up and do this, when you bring the baby to the face, you just do like weird noises to the baby. Well, he was doing that, and while he had his mouth open, baby me vomited into his mouth. Just blah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he wasn't very happy, but then again, he put himself in that situation. And you can't blame me because I was a baby. Can't blame the baby. And then there was a time, um, a time where every one of my, or many people in my family, especially my mother, my parents were divorced for over almost 30 years. They used to go out to eat on New Year's Eve at a local place called Monty's Pizza. And one year, when it was the one New Year's after they had all been trying to keep me when I was a kid away from him for reasons I still don't understand why, he was very upset, very pissed, and he sat there on the other side of the restaurant, eating his pizza and just angrily staring at my family before threatening to kill everyone in the building with a chainsaw. My father had a very bad temper, but as he aged, he mellowed out. My grandfather talked him down, and it was actually my grandfather that allowed him to see me. And I got back into my father's life. Now, I don't blame my father for his response to that. I tend to blame the people in my family who at the time were doing that as to hold a grudge against my mother for that and other things. But my father also had a very, I suppose you can call it a mischievous sense of humor. If you were trying to plug something in to a wall outlet around him, you were taking a very big risk because the moment you plug it in, there was no doubt in anyone's mind, if you weren't paying attention, he's going to yell, "Bang!" And you're going to jump out of your skin and halfway across the room, because he's going to make you think that the outlet has just popped something horribly. Now I'm going to miss that because that was I loved when he had expressed his sense of humor. I'm going to miss him, and the fact that he was only 52 years old. Now his father normally lived to be 39, and my father making it to 52 was actually very good, considering everything he's been through: 12 strokes, 2 heart attacks, kidney failure, and in the end he died from septic shock. A very stubborn man, refused to give up. And I think one of his proudest moments in his life was being able to be there for me when I graduated high school. You can see the vast difference between us. His style of clothing versus my style of clothing for graduation and even casual wear. But he was very happy to have been there for my graduation in person. And was very happy to have him there. And really, the last time I saw him before he went to the hospital back in November was in August when he stopped by unexpectedly to my apartment just to see me because he was in town. He stayed for about 20 minutes. We had a good time, a very nice visit. I was actually going to invite him over for Thanksgiving in 2025, but on November 24th, I got the call that he had had a major stroke and was in the hospital. So, and as I said in my previous video, after he had that stroke, he was getting better in the days following until the 28th when he had the 12th stroke that resulted in brain damage, and then it was just downhill from there. It's a very creepy thing with me that when I start to think about people for a certain amount of time, after a while, bad things happen to them, and I should have expected something to go wrong because I was thinking about my father a lot in the days before the call about his stroke on the 24th November. Like whenever I have something planned with other people, something happens that I can't do those plans, and it's always something bad for the other person. And I was hoping that he'd be here longer. I was hoping he would make it for many years to come. Because he had been through so much, he had lived longer than his father had, that I thought maybe he'd broken the Stewart curse, and I suppose in a way he did, making it into his 50s. When most men on my father's side don't do that. But I suppose to end this, I should just tell you all that don't hold a grudge against your parents unless what they've done to you is unforgivable. But if it's something minor, don't hold it against them and hold them close. You really don't know how much time you have left with them. I thought I had more time.